walking. Hey, hello star seeds, and welcome back to the Natural Advisory Frequency. As most of you guys know, this season, well, the beginning of this season, we're doing the series on therapies, and therapy is in session. Last time we were talking about, you know, counseling just for your overall mental health and wellness. And this week I'm going to be talking about the next steps that I like to take just because they're fun for me and they relieve a lot of pain and things like that. And, you know, yeah, you get instant results. So the next thing would be very closely related to like counseling and mind body stuff, because it just all ties together. Honestly, all of this ties together. But the next thing I want to talk about is like energy movement and like Reiki and things like that. I mean, everybody has their own words for it, and there's a lot of different techniques on how to get it done, and a lot of those I'll be talking about later. But for now, I want to focus on Reiki and how I apply that sometimes in counseling, especially with people that are just so consumed by their own energy, you know, at that point, like their own ego, their own negative energy, their own whatever, fears, anxieties, traumas, like just moving energy around just so that we can at least release it. And then if not, if you can take it a step further and transform it, which is what I always like to recommend, especially if you guys know me, this is what I've been preaching a lot lately, just because, I mean, you need it. Like, you'll learn the duality of life when you do. You know, you transform energy. It cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. And honestly, your life is better when you transform your own energy. You know, even energy that people send you, good or bad. Like, you know, some evil eye or what have you. Like, if you transform that into something that's beneficial for you, then you're all the more powerful. You're able to be more in control of your own mind, which therefore leads you to have a higher level of consciousness and allows you to heal yourself. So Reiki is like the next thing that I would do in conjunction with counseling and things like that, talking through different things. Just because like a lot of mental health problems are usually like ascension type symptoms, where it may seem like the textbook DSM definitions, when the reality is just you're just leveling up in life. You know, you're taking the next steps, and your higher self is really driving you to do that. And so you're struggling with your newfound gifts, or you are resisting these newfound gifts, like whatever it is, whatever's going on. So like, I feel like Reiki is so applicable here. And I've had to do it a couple of times now. It's something that I'm relatively new at, and I've been really practicing, but it has really shown up a lot more lately. And especially when it comes to like removing entities, you know, a lot of times people are possessed by things, like possessed by whatever you want to call it. I just call it entities because you never know what it is at any given time. Just know that there's something else that has just latched onto your mind, your thinking, your train of thought, and is just causing havoc in your life, just wreaking havoc in your life. And I mean, churches got it. They know what's up. Like, a lot of religions know what's up, because it's true. Like, you can get possessed by demons or whatever you want to call it, and they usually are weak. In my experience, they're very, very weak. Because they're weak, they use your own energy, your own thoughts against you, so that you can just be destroying and self-destructing on all aspects of life. Like, they're very, very weak. So in order for them to have power over you and take control truly is by latching on to that one thought or that one trauma or what have you that will just get the job done top to bottom. Like that's what I've seen. They've latched on. They just latch on there and they're just so small, minute that you could just rip them right off with the best intentions, honestly. And what you're left with is usually a lot of just clouded judgment, clouded darkness, and within that person, because that entity was just creating that and allowing that. And so you still have to go back and work through that. And that's where Reiki comes in really, really heavily, is just to move that energy around, because usually it's stuck somewhere, like at different parts of the body, causing different physical illnesses. And that's another indicator sometimes. I might have to do another video on that, but just depending on where the energy is stagnant, it's really, honestly, it'll match right up with whatever that person's dealing with, whatever their deepest trauma is. You know, the organs are associated with specific emotions and things like that. And, you know, based on the symptoms that they're having, especially at that point when they're probably having physical problems, usually when they're possessed with some type of entity. But like, whatever problem they're having or physical illness or symptoms that they're having, it probably matches perfectly where energy is stuck, energy is stagnant. And so once you remove that entity, then the best thing to do is just to get that energy flowing, so that one, hopefully that person can be able to transform that energy. And if they're not, then I like to use other techniques, you know, telling them to use, depending on what they're into or what they need at that time, like what I can check for them at that time, like saging or using crystals, or like actually getting a massage or something, like some type of physical Reiki movement, and just whatever it needs to be to remove that energy if they aren't able or strong enough in that moment to transform it, you know. And it's like working a miracle, like freaking Jesus Christ working miracles in the streets. The way that people will just totally brighten up, like their whole complexion, their whole energy, just everything about them, like it's like right before your eyes, like just blows my freaking mind every time, you know. And even if you can't see them, like even if you can't be there, like, you know, I do a lot of long distance stuff, and even when I'm not there with them, I can tell when it worked, because they just, you know, I go back in to check their overall energy movement and stuff, and even then you can feel it, you can see the difference, you can tell that it's working, like it's like a freaking miracle. And so all of this I usually just tie in with mental health stuff, you know, when I'm already doing counseling, and usually people are just struggling with their ascension symptoms. That's what I'm seeing a lot of right now, just because of the energy increases and things like that. So most people are like not really being validated. Not that I'm validating them anyway. And yeah, that's just like semantics, honestly. But I guess you could say that I am validating them, because they are usually confused about what's happening with them. You know, they're like, oh, I'm hearing voices, or I'm predicting things, or I'm seeing electricity and nobody else can see it, or whatever is happening, whatever they're going through, whatever's going on. It's just like they feel like nobody understands or nobody believes them, and they don't even believe themselves on top of that. So then the discord, the dissonance that they're having is just through the roof. And yeah, that's what I've just been seeing mostly lately, is just those ascension symptoms and things like that, and just sitting with them and counseling them, letting them know like, hey, I believe you. Like, I totally believe you, even if I'm not able to do it. Like this one girl, she was seeing electricity and things like that, and I was just like, well, I've never been able to see things. I mean, I have seen things, it's just not my gift. Like, you know, I'm more so the healer, medicine woman type being. Like, I could see the future, but I don't actually see it either. So it's just like, I was like, I believe you, okay? I don't need to have been able to do that myself. It's just like, you know, and that was enough. Like, you know, just me being honest. I'm like, look, I've never been able to do it. I've never been able to see it. Does that mean it's not true, that what you're seeing is not valid or not happening at all? And then just that relief of acknowledging that is just enough, you know, just sitting with that person and talking to them and letting them know that this is real fucking life, okay? Well, now it's time to flex our powers, see what's really happening around here, you know? So I like to tie Reiki in, especially when there's other entities involved, because you can't get much done until you can remove those. And then even then, you got to do that Reiki just to help them move some energy along, because some people have probably just trauma bonding with others and that's all they have, and they'll probably feel like everyone's abandoning them when they abandon their trauma. Or some people straight up just gave up on their empathy, so they just are completely dead inside. Everything's just selfish gain kind of thing, where at like any scenario, like energy needs to be moved around. And I feel like that really always ties in with counseling and things like that. So it's always a good time. It's always powerful, you know, working with the mind. I feel like you get such quick results when you do it right, you know. Well, I guess you can get quick results with anything. Yeah, it's just about doing it right. Knowing what you're doing. So yeah, that's another therapy that I like to do. If you guys have any Reiki techniques or anything, since I'm not like, you know, I do everything intuitively, I didn't have any type of class or training or anything, you know. I'm sure there's things that are really good to know when you're performing Reiki on yourself and others and things like that. So if you guys have any information or want to share or discuss, just comment below. I'd love to talk to you. And thank you so much for subscribing and watching. I really appreciate you guys supporting me constantly, and you know I'm here for you. So anytime you need anything, especially if it's about what we just talked about, like, you know, if you're feeling some type of way, if you need my help directly, I'm here for you. Book your appointments, book your readings, just stay connected with me. I'm here for you guys, and I love you. I'll see you on the other side.